Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here for this ScalpTool webinar. It's the introduction to the ScalpTool platform, and it's also intended to give you a little bit of background information on Zen-Fire as well. As I mentioned before, my name is Bob Kamicar. I'm with Mirsu Futures. Today's webinar should last for about an hour. Again, it's just a brief intro to the ScalpTool platform. We really encourage you to download a demo of the platform and take a look at it yourself. Spend some time with it, evaluate it. I'll show you a little bit later on in today's webinar where you can get or register for a demo of your own. For those of you who are new to the room, we do have a question and answer window in the lower left-hand corner of the screen that you can use to send me your questions at any point in time as we go throughout today. I'd be happy to address any of the questions that you pose, and I'll be doing so periodically throughout the webinar. I try to answer those as they come in, so that you can get a fairly immediate response from me. But I may delay a response, and I'll let you know if I'm going to do so. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started? And I'm actually going to start by posing a question to you all. So I want to just gauge who here has an account with Mirsu, and who here is new to Mirsu Futures and Zen-Fire. If you can share your experience with us using that Q&A window, it would be greatly appreciated. And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you how you can get connected with Zen-Fire and ScalpTool. So for those of you who are not familiar with Zen-Fire, Zen-Fire was a product that was built, really a network and an infrastructure that connects you to the exchange. And it was released in 2006 by Mirsu Futures. We were the first brokerage firm to offer the technology, and we're still proud to be the largest supporting broker of Zen-Fire. It's really a unique thing in the industry, what we had done with Zen-Fire, in that it really leveled the playing field between the trader from home and someone that was trading for a prop firm or a bank or hedge firm, in that we offer the same technology, if not a newer technology, newer ways to do things than some of those same firms. So we try to offer the best experience possible in providing unfiltered tick data, getting you an extremely low latency connection to the exchange, and we do that all through the Zen-Fire offering. So it's great to see that we do have some current clients in the room, and that they've had some good experiences with us. But it's also good to see that we have some folks that are new to Mirsu. And for anyone that is new to Mirsu, I just want to say we do our best to support our clients in every way possible, whether that's providing them with new and the latest technologies such as Zen-Fire, or advanced trading platforms such as ScalpTool, or in general education and account support. We do have technical support teams here at Mirsu to offer assistance, whether you're just having trouble getting connected, or if you do have an issue that we need to look into. And we do have a 24-hour emergency trade desk as well. So I'll show you where you can find access to those resources a little bit later on. Thanks very much, Mike, who says that we're great. So I'm going to assume that you guys have already registered for the for the demo, and this is the main screen that you would see when you were getting connected. This is the introduction screen where you can see you place your username, your password, and the license key you would have received from ScalpTool directly to access the platform with Zen-Fire. Now, if you're using this on a demo account, you would connect using the paper trading environment, which you see here. You can also see Zen-Fire is used for live customers. Whenever you're connecting, the next screen, and I'm already connected, so it's not allowing me to connect again. The next screen will show you that that you can start it in simulation mode or live mode. So if you're connecting using a demo and you hit simulation mode, you're going to use ScalpTool's own simulation environment. If you do say live when you connect with the demo, you will be using the Zen-Fire supported server-side simulator. We do recommend using the server-side simulator for a couple reasons, but mainly to get a more accurate representation of what trading with Mirsu will actually be like. When you are using the server-side demo, you will be sending orders to the same data center where your live orders will be sent as well. This will give you a little bit better understanding of the time that it takes to get the orders to the exchange, and really help you get the feeling of live trading without actually trading your real funds. With that said, nothing is going to be an exact representation of what it's like to trade live. Mike, yes, ScalpTool is standalone from some of the other platforms that we offer, so it is a separate platform option. Once you do get connected, and I am connected here on the ScalpTool simulation side, you're going to see this as your main window. So you have the connection options, settings, tools, trading, lock, and exit, as well as access to the support videos, their forum site, website, and the guide. Well, I would imagine that the first thing that you would want to do to evaluate a new platform is just see the market data. You would access any new market through a book, and you would click here to get the new book. In this window, you'll type in the contract that you want to trade. So I'm going to use gold, and we're in February on this one, 2003. I'm going to select the exchange that is traded on, which is COMEX, and hit connect. And I started getting quotes now on gold. And you can do this for as many of the markets that you want to keep an eye on. So I might do CL. Boy, I don't know what we're in there. Maybe that's in February as well. And that would be on NYMEX. So you can see that the main book is where you can start adding the various markets that you want to keep an eye on. So this is the standard book, and I'm going to start just by talking about the ES here, which is a market that's probably familiar to all of you. You can absolutely use multiple platforms with your account simultaneously. If you do not have two separate usernames to do that, speak to somebody here at Mirsu in the support team or your broker, and they can create an additional login for you to use more than one platform at one time. So I'm taking a look, and I've done a few additional things here in the main book to get a little more information on the market. First, I'm taking a look at this chart down below, what you see here, and this is a tick-by-tick chart. As you can see, it's updating with every single trade. I've also done a TMF window here, and the TMF is standing for time Mani Forte, which is a source of a time and sales window, but it's really filtered time and sales. And I'll explain a little bit about why and how you would want to use the TMF in just a little bit. But what you can see here that I'm doing is filtering out higher number of trades, so higher lot trades. Quantity to buy, 272. 250 to sell, 434 to sell. You can see I'm filtering out any trades that happen over 250 lots. And if I click TMF2, I'm filtering out any trades that are 1,000 lots or more. And you can see that in those quantities here. So that's just a brief teaser. We'll get back to that here in a minute. What I want to show you now is the external chart that I have in view here. And if you want to bring up an external chart or an external TMF window, you can do that under the View option in the Classic book. So this is an external chart that I'm using here. I'm looking at, obviously I'm looking at the ES, and this I'm viewing the candlestick charts. I've also added a couple indicators here. One is the pivot points, which is just a classic pivot formula. Volume, so here's the volume bars below each candle, and the buy and sell indicator. The buy and sell indicator is one that's proprietary to the ScalpTool, and one that can be used to help you identify reversals in the market. And I'll explain how that can be used in combination with some of the other proprietary features of the ScalpTool here in just a moment. So again, you can use the external chart to size. You may have noticed, if you're following along here, that the chart that I've added that's contained in this classic book cannot be sized. So that's why I've viewed an external chart, so that I can resize that to the size that I want to see. I'm just going to size that back down here and place it down below. One of the other things that you can see here is this, and this is the classic book. Basically, anything that you want to do in the market that you're viewing in the classic book can be done from the classic book. And you can see up in this upper left-hand corner where there are a few different letters here. And if you hover over any field or any button in ScalpTool, you should get some more information on it. So I'm hovering under this G, and it says chart right. Well, that's going to add another chart to the right side of the classic book, and you can see here that it did get added. And you can see that you can change time frames within this chart. So here's a 5-minute. In this, you can do just a candlesticks, a tick chart, or both, and then you can change the the number of candles that you're viewing in the chart by using the plus and minus Z buttons. So I'm just going to draw that back here. Probably one of the most advanced tools in ScalpTool is the vertical book, or dome, as many of you know it. And if you hover over that D there, you'll see that it's the dome that'll get added. I already have one up, so I'm just going to bring that up to you. And this is kind of what it looks like. Or this is exactly what it looks like. Now, I've done some things here that you can do as well. But when you first open a dome, you'll get something similar to this, something that's very basic. There's some neat stuff that we can take a look at, but first I want to increase the size of the numbers so that you guys can see it a little bit better. One of the nice features here is that L1, L2, and L3 can be used to resize the numbers that you see. So I'm going to use L3 for the purposes of the webinar. Under the levels option, you can change the number of price levels that you're viewing within the dome itself. Couple of things on the very left-hand side, you can see what's really a miniaturized volume profile. You can see how many contracts were traded at each price with a little graph indicating those levels for you, and that can be very key to identifying pivot points or support and resistance in the market when you know what the volume has been traded at each one of those levels. You can see that we're trading close to the lows here of the day. If we scroll up, we're pretty far away from the highs of the day, and those are indicated within the price column itself. I also have this row here with a lot of additional information in it, and it's pretty nice to have it within the dome itself, because it allows you to take information that you have on your charts and view it directly in the vertical book. The blue bar here is coinciding with the last candlestick bar in the chart. So what the range was in that candle. Some of the others are VWAP. You get the volume weighted average. You can get the averages. You also see some of the pivot levels that are defined here in the chart itself. 1406, 1406. With these green indications, and actually that was pretty neat that it just so happened at that time that some of these levels changed, so that you could see that changed in the dome here. One of the other things that you can do is, if you are using the charts here within the classic book, you can identify for yourself your own levels. So if you just click on the chart at any price, you can also see that in the dome, wherever you've identified levels, 1406 and 1413, we have these little blue marks in our dome now. And you would just click on that same line to get rid of those levels. Um, so let's take a look at what it would be like to trade in ScalpTool, and then we'll go over some of the other unique features to the Dome. Basic trading is done directly in here. You can see when you hover over the price column, that's where your limit orders are going to be placed, your buy orders. And your sell orders, sell limit orders here in the column next to it. In the column next to it, you can see the market depth, how many contracts are at each level, and the next level over, which is also the cancellation column, you can see how many orders there are accounting for that many contracts. So in this last level here at 1404, for instance, there are 512 contracts, now 579, 512, but there are only 68 orders there, or 68 parties with that many lots. So it does give you that additional sense of market depth by knowing how many comprise the total number of contracts. Now down below these columns, you can adjust the quantities that you want to use, and they have 4 different fields that you can use so that you can quickly change the quantities that you're trading. If you have one of those highlighted, you will trade that size when you go to place an order. So we'll place an order here at that 1404 level, and I've highlighted the 1. So just left click in these to place the order. Sell limit at 1409, and there it is. Now if you highlight 5, I've placed a 5 lot order. Very easy to cancel any orders. Again, you do have this cancellation column here where you can left click to cancel the order, but you can also right click in the column that you place the order. So if you've placed an order here at 1404, you want to cancel and move it to 1425, you can right click, then left click, right click, then left click, wherever you want to place the order. And it happens very, very quickly. One of the things that the developer of ScalpTool wanted to do was the ability to trade fast. Obviously, this is ScalpTool. It's a tool for scalping. Scalpers move quickly in the market and need features that allow them to move swiftly and manage their orders quickly as well. So everything that you see in ScalpTool is really designed for speed. And you can see that in the market data as well. Some platforms develop to the trading engine and very well and are able to take advantage of the speed that Zen-Fire can provide. Some platforms don't do it so well. ScalpTool is a platform that has developed to the trading engine very well and is very efficient. The updates are instantaneous. It's really incredible the level that their developers took it to. So it's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, platform in terms of market data response times that we've seen. I was talking about speed before. One of the additional things that the ScalpTool developed is that with most platforms, when you click to place an order, it requires that you lift up on the mouse button to complete that process. Now, as I mentioned, this was developed for speed. They actually cut that time. So simply the down click will place the order. I'm still clicking down on the button. So you can see that just clicking down on the button places the order. And it's a way to shave off time. So not a lot of platforms take advantage of that. And if you are considering moving to ScalpTool, I do recommend that you get used to placing those orders, because it does differ from the way that other platforms work. And again, to make for fast decision making. One of the really, really nice things that the ScalpTool can do is show you your priority in the market, in the book. So if you go to the top here and look at PO, which is priority orders, some additional columns come up. And this is going to show you your approximate location in the market depth in the book. So you can see, obviously this isn't a live trade. If it were, the number of contracts at this price would have increased by 5. Well, this column will show you the number of contracts ahead of you. In other words, this is your priority in the book. 307 contracts would have to fill before mine could be filled. The column here you keep seeing flashing, this is showing how many orders are behind you. So let's try to see if the market will come down to that 575 level a few more times and start filling some of the orders there, and we'll see these track appropriately. So just keep an eye on that as we continue to move through the platform. So obviously the only thing that we've been playing with so far is limit orders. Limit orders to buy and limit orders to sell. And you can see the difference between how they're represented in the orders column simply by the color and if it's a positive or negative value. If it's positive and green, that's an order to buy. If it's positive, or if it's negative and red, then it's an order to sell. Well, we also have a stop column that allows you to place stop orders. And the way that you would access this column is by viewing the conditional orders, which is BCO here at the top of the dome. And there are 2 types of stop orders that you can use. I'm going to use CO local today because I am using the local simulator in ScalpTool. But in all other cases, Mirsu recommends that you use the server, CO server. Now, it depends on your trading style, but very generally, the CO server orders, the stop orders, are going to be sent to Zen-Fire and go directly to the exchange. So in most cases, we would actually recommend that you use the CO server. It's just because I'm using the local simulator on ScalpTool that I will be using these today. Basically, it's the same thing. You can left click to place an order, a stop order, and you can right click to cancel it. And again, it will identify what quantity you've selected down below when you are placing these. So you can see now we're 18th in the book, so while the market depth here is 65.81, we know that only 17 orders have to fill now before we could potentially get filled. So certainly hope that this happens because I'd like to show you some other features. And we did just get a fill there, which you can see. And when we did, you can see that our potential profit and loss outcomes are in this new column here. So it's a very nice way to keep track of the position and help you identify where you may want to set targets and stops. you may be eyeing a particular price in the market, but you may also want to make decisions on, how much you're willing to risk in by placing a stop at no more than $200 loss. Now, obviously, you want to be careful about the quantities that you're using. Since we were filled with one order, one contract, I'm just going to place a stop order down here, 1401.75, for a $200 loss. That's as much as I would want to lose on this trade. We see down below the position in the market. So we're long one. This was our average entry point right here, and it's our current profit and loss. Now, if we have orders in the market, we can cancel all orders by hitting the cancel all button down below. Now, we've gotten a lot of that information now. So I've got a profit target in terms of a limit order to sell up here at 1408.75. I also got my stop order down here. One of the neat things is the ability to use the fast order. And it's the ability to move, basically cancel, and place a new order with one click of your mouse. And so I've enabled the fast order column, which is the first button that you see in the dome. It's BFO. And if you enable fast order, which is FO, you'll see what I mean. So now that I have my order here, well, what happens when I want to move it to 1410? Well, instead of canceling this order and placing a new one, you can simply, I hit the wrong column. You can simply move the order by left clicking at the new price. So you want a profit target at 1408. Now you want to adjust that to 1409. One click of your mouse. And the same thing with the stop. Which may only work server side. Robert had a question when we were in line to be filled at the market. Before we got filled, you see this number in this column here to the immediate right of the orders column. So the 193 that you see on the screen there, that's the number of contracts that are in front of you. And so that coincides right now with the last order in the book. In other words, there's nobody that's gotten in line at that price level after we did. So right now we're the last people in the book at that price. And that's the number of contracts. This number here, the 45 that I'm highlighting in orange, is the number of parties that have 193 contracts. So there's only 45 people that have 193 contracts in at that price. And one of the things that you may want to be aware of is that if you do place a buy limit order above the market, it's going to fill if there is liquidity down below. So you want to be careful in which column that you're clicking to place your orders. If you want a sell limit order, make sure that you're in the sell column, which would have the minus. And it doesn't look like you guys can see that, but it would have the minus tag over the cursor. The plus tag would appear if you're in the buy column. So you can see the cell that I'm in highlighted. If you click there, that will be a sell limit. However, if you place a buy limit right now and there is liquidity below us, which there is, you would be filled just like a market order. And so now you can see our position in the market is +3. We're long 3 contracts in this market. Now, if you can also use the quantity of your position for your orders. So you can see here that instead of selecting a quantity down below, I've actually selected my position size, and that will be used now if we do not have the fast order selected to place an order of that size. One additional way that you can move it instead of using the fast order to adjust the and I did it again. Gosh, we're long 6. Long 3. Okay. So you could also drag and drop the price in the orders column. So that would be one additional way to do it, one that doesn't use the fast order. And as you can see, I need some practice using the fast order, so I don't know if I would have that enabled for my live account right now. If you have multiple orders out there, so let's say that we have a 10 lot up here, and another 10 lot here, and a 1 lot here. You can use the L and the S, or the L and the 1 buttons to identify which order it is you want to move when you have fast order selected. So if we have the number 1 selected, that's going to move the first order. You can see that that 1 lot got moved. However, if we have the L button selected, that's going to move the last order, the furthest away from where the current market is trading. And you can see that that 10 lot got moved here. Now the 10 lot that was previously here, it got moved. Now the 3 lot is the furthest away, and that got moved. So that can also help you in terms of managing your positions and your orders effectively. A couple of additional information about the market. You can see the time. This is all based off of your computer's clock. The number of contracts that have been traded thus far today, the change in the market in terms of percentages, and the price. And in addition, you can see T&S, time and sales. So this is where the ScalpTool really shines, because you can get all within one location just a huge amount of information about the market. Not only are you getting a miniature volume profile over on the left-hand side, you can view the priority orders here, but you can also get the time and sales window right in the dome that you're trading on. And you can see these 1 lots scattered through the 71 lots, the 2 lots. Here's a 100 lot. In the first column is the quantity, so that's the number of contracts that were traded. The second column is the C column, if you're following along. C is identifying how many counterparties filled that order. So the 55 lot took 10 counterparties to fill. Obviously, the 1 lots are only going to have 1 counterparty. There was a 3 lot order that took 2 counterparties to fill, and the associated price and time that those occurred. One of the additional things that you can view here in the dome is time and sales all and time and sales MF. Time and sales MF is just going to be a larger view of what we do. In the classic book, if you recall, TMF was time Manny Forte, which is basically filtering the time and sales to help you identify moves from larger customers. Now, why that's important, and basically before I move on, I'm showing you that what you have selected here in terms of the quantity, TMF1 I have set to 250 lots, so that's going to filter out any order larger than 250 lots. If I select TMF2, that's going to be the filter of 1,000 lots, which I have selected here. That it's very easy to do. You can, just type in the new. So here's our 2,000 lots. You can use the incremental button over here to use the arrows and change it that way. So now here I've dropped it down to 1,500. Here's all orders larger than 1,500 lots. So you can go through and with each market that you're watching, see what is by looking at this. I can see at this time in the market from 9:54 until about 11:30, there was a real downtrend in the market. The larger players were selling. And you can, that's a TMF is supposed to help you identify. In addition to being fast for scalpers, ScalpTool is there to help you identify institutional buying and selling. The developers at euSpeed, really one person behind the ScalpTool, and that's Roberto Vernaleone out of Italy. He developed this platform specifically for his trading. And so platform, a lot of unique features and abilities to manage orders and positions very effectively and efficiently. You're getting a trading methodology along with it. And one of the ways that he trades is with the larger trends, with the larger institutional customers who are going to help determine the trends in the market. So a couple of the ways that he does that is by using the TMF. And like I said, the TMF is there for helping you identify large institutional buying and selling. And so what you can do in the markets that you track and trade is start to look at what is that volume? What is the volume that I need to start filtering out? Now, if you filter out 250 lots, or maybe you filter out just 50 lots in this market, maybe that's not going to help you identify those larger institutional type buyers and sellers. Maybe you need to increase that to 500 lots. But you're going to use this, and it's supposed to help you start to learn what the institutions are doing, because the trading methodology is that you never want to. Why would you want to go against the larger customers who are helping define the trend? Go with them. So if you can identify that using the TMF, then you're one step ahead of the game. I think, yeah, the market just closed 4:15, so I'm going to. I think all CME markets are closed. Let's see about opening a new book for the TF. bring up a dome for the TF. This market trades until 5 p.m. Central Time, so that's why I have opened this one up. So I've hit the H here. That's going to bring open the TMF. I'm adding time and sales here. Obviously, nothing's being traded right now in the TF either. But the TF has a lot lower volume than the ES. You may want to use different filters. You may have to use different filters to be able to help you identify who the larger traders are and where they're coming in and out of the market. Time and sales is only going to update when you first connect to the market. So right now we don't have any time and sales data that'll essentially start gathering once you've connected to that market. So if you trade gold or silver later on in the day, but you want to see the volume or the time and sales numbers from earlier in the day, my recommendation would be to have a book open and have a time and sales window open for that, so that you can start gathering that data earlier in the day and taking a look at it later on in the day. Otherwise, if you've connected to a contract like I just have and there's nothing being traded because of the time of day that it's in, it's just slow, then you're not going to get much value in it. But this market is still open, as I mentioned, so we will use it for the remainder of the webinar. One of the other indicators that is used is the buy and sell indicator, and I said that I'd come back to that later. The buy and sell is basically telling you the difference in the buyers and sellers, so in a current time frame, so based off of the candles. So this is 10-minute candles. Each one of these relates to, on the right-hand side here on the buy and sell, you see these basically a ladder almost, green at the bottom, red, 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 green, green, red of 14,000. That's basically the difference in how many buyers and how many sellers there were during that time frame. And the turquoise line that you see here is the average over that period, and you can change the the period going back 10 time frames or 5, whatever it is that you want to view, and then you'll also see down below the number that says minus 1,802. It may not be very clear to you in the webinar, but that's basically how many either positive or negative from the average. What is the delta between the average and where it actually is? And so, oops, we'll go down, see if we can get a positive value there. We can't. Obviously, if you change the period to 1, the average is going to equal the actual, and so there will be no difference in that chart. But the turquoise is the average, and what you're looking for there is basically a reversal. You're looking for periods of time when the market might reverse and cross over the average. And you can see that it happened here at this time, but at that time, and we'll bring up the ES dome again, because we're looking at the ES. But at that time, which was a little earlier in the day 3:15. It was around 2:15. What was happening? Right here, I'm looking at the TMF, time and sales MF on the right-hand side for the times. Right around that 2:15 time frame, there was some buying, and you can see that there was some institutional buying, but there wasn't enough to spark a trend. You can see institutional buyers or sellers in a row. However you just define what your trend is, what you're looking for is increased buying and selling from those larger customers. At that time, there were a couple, but there weren't, a lot of buyers in a row. And so while the buy and sell indicator down below may have sparked your interest because you saw a crossover from the moving average, the time and sales MF that you're tracking didn't really support your hypothesis and that the market was going to start trending up from that time. And you can see at that time the market did fail and the market started moving down and trending back down. So really, all of the different indicators here within the Scalp tool are there to help you identify and reinforce the rules that the developer Roberto used when creating Scalp tool. Let's see. No bit count over there. No sound. I just got one report of there. Okay, so other people can hear me. Let me just reply to him by, and thank you for responding. Great. So continue to get your questions in. What I'm going to do is show you one additional indicator that you can use. As I mentioned before, the ScalpTool's proprietary are there to help you identify the trend. And there's one really unique way that it is going to help you do this as well, and that's through audio alerts. And I want to make sure that you guys are aware of these audio alerts. And the way that you would get to the settings here is in the classic book by going to the pound symbol and hitting settings. And you can see sound TMF in the middle there. And you would want a check mark next to that. Now, what does that mean exactly? Sound TMF. It means that every time that one of the institutional buyers are coming in or out of the market, or buying or selling, you're going to get an audio alert. And so it's just one additional way to help you identify that trend. And in fact, it is something it's supposed to be sensory. One of the things that trading lacks these days is additional ways to help signal you when things are changing or things are happening in the market. When trading was done primarily in the pit, there were all sorts of different senses that you could use to gain a feeling and an understanding of the market. You wouldn't just use your eyes to see what's going on. You would hear the roars of the markets. You would hear the volume level in the pit change considerably. You would see, hear, and feel things, pressure from your peers when you're crowded in that pit. So there were all these different ways to help signal things to you. The sound will give you an alert, a beep or a boop, when there is large institutional selling or buying, and it's going to coincide with the TMF numbers that you've defined. So we're looking over here at the ES, and we're filtering out anything over 1,500 lots. From that very first one in the day, at 9:54:32, you're going to get a boop. Then at 10:04, another boop. Then at 10:30, boop. And again at 10:30, boop. So maybe as soon as you start to hear those things and they start to speed up, maybe that's helping you spot a trend in the market. So it's all meant to be used together to help you get a sense of what's going on in the market. And a lot of these things you're going to be using in ScalpTool are things that you're going to need to play with again. The various volume levels in the TMF. Maybe 1,200 suits you better than 1,500 or 2,000 in terms of the filters. You may need to change those for holidays. We just had a holiday here in the United States, Thanksgiving. There wasn't a lot of trading activity that entire week. So during that week, you may need to reduce the levels that you're using in the market. One neat thing here in the chart, in the tick-by-tick chart, is that it also has some additional ways to indicate what's going on in the market in terms of helping you also identify the larger players. So you can get a little circle here when a trade happens that is over your TMF level. So maybe if we change that to 25, we can see that. So you can see some additional things start to be identified here in the chart. You see a little circle if a trade happens over your TMF value, and we saw that a few times here if we reduce the quantity here in that in the TMF window. And like I said before, if it's a larger TMF setting that's really signaling the institutional buying and selling, you're going to get that circle, and it's just one additional way that you can start to help identify those trends in the market. Okay. It's already 4:30, and I really didn't expect to go this long simply on some of these standard features of the ScalpTool platform. There's many more things that it does in terms of helping you understand your positions, your the performance in the market, your portfolio in terms of the markets that you're in. It just does quite a bit in terms of helping you manage and monitor. So I did want to take you over to the Mirsu Futures website and show you where you can register for your demo account of ScalpTool. We have it directly on the home page. So if you see down here on the lower left-hand side, start your free real-time demo, just click on the ScalpTool link and you can register to receive the username and password required to get your 30-day trial of Zen-Fire with ScalpTool. In addition, under our support tab, you'll see a link to the ScalpTool section. I do highly recommend that you take some time and check out the training videos that are available on the euSpeed YouTube page. It's going to contain some additional items that we weren't able to cover in today's webinar. ScalpTool is a product of the firm euSpeed or euSpeed. They are based out of Italy. It's not just Roberto that developed it. He has a really intelligent and responsive staff. If you are having trouble, downloading it or getting connected, they're more than welcome to help, more than willing to help you get started and answer any questions about the platform for you. But the euSpeed website and YouTube channel can be used to look at some additional training there. That's it for me. I don't want to hold you any longer. I know that a lot of you want to get moving on to your families and things like that. So feel free to check out the site, check out the user guide that's available on our support section under the ScalpTool link. Check out the training videos. But mainly, if you are already a customer or not a customer of Mirsu, you can download a free 30-day demo of your trading. Couple questions have come in on the price and the cost of ScalpTool. There is an additional cost to using ScalpTool, so it would be a separate monthly fee that you would pay directly to the euSpeed team. I would go to the euSpeed website to learn about the various purchasing methods. It's simply euspeed.com. And I'll take you to their English site. Room here today. Want to thank Marcello Bugnoli, who is one of our partners at euSpeed, and he's also part of Quantirica Algorithmic Trading, for joining the webinar today. He does a lot of the work and help and support on the platform side. Very good partner of Mirsu. And thank all of you for joining us. Feel free to register for some upcoming webinars. We would love to have you again. If we don't see you before the holidays and the new year, have a great rest of the year. Thank you.